Well, welcome back to another Premier League predictions. Yes, this is a bit of a strange game week as it's split into two weekends, if that makes any sense. So we have one set of fixtures this weekend, then there's a little break, and then next weekend we have another set of fixtures, but they all count as one game week. It's a bit strange. There are cup replays and stuff going on in between, so it could affect these predictions, but the only cup competitions that I'm taking into account for this week are the FA Cup ties that went off. Chelsea are playing Middlesbrough tonight, and then Fulham are playing Liverpool tomorrow, I believe. Let's be real, Middlesbrough are probably going to beat Chelsea, and Liverpool are probably going to beat Fulham, so there's your final. Anyway, we're going to start off with the Friday fixture, and Burnley versus Luton Town. So we start this week of Premier League football with a relegation scrap, as Burnley host Luton at Turf Moor. These two newly promoted sides find themselves in the relegation zone, a place that they've occupied for basically the entire season, apart from one little bit where Luton got pushed out because Everton got their points deduction. But pretty much relegation zone mainstays. Burnley have been dumped out of the FA Cup by Spurs and are also coming off the back of a loss in the league, which they lost to Villa. Very narrowly though, to be fair. Luton Town haven't had it much better though, as they were held to a draw by League One Bolton Wanderers at Kenilworth Road, and also lost in the league to Chelsea. So both teams not really having a great run of things at the moment, but it really is games like these which are really important for the teams in and around the drop zone and could potentially be season defining if the team grabbed a result here. I mean, it is probably too early on in the season to say that this is a season-defining result, but it could be if you look back. Like, come end of the season, if we look back and we say, like, hey, Burnley or Luton survived by 3 points, and they got 3 points here, you could say it was a season-defining game. Either way, though, I'm going to say 2-1 to Luton Town. I'm backing Luton to win this clash in Lancashire. Of the three newly promoted sides, Luton have been the best performing of the lot, with 15 points to their name and some big results under their belt as well, and some very impressive performances. 3 points here would see Luton jump out of the relegation zone, and should results go their way, they could stay out of it come the end of the game week. Burnley have not shown much in the way of attack, only scoring 3 goals in their last 5 league matches, or 3 goals in 6 matches if you count the FA Cup. Either way, it's not been great for them. Luton, on the other hand, have been enjoying much better league exploits, scoring 10 in their last 5 matches, and that includes clashes against the likes of Arsenal, Man City and Chelsea, some very big teams. Well, maybe not Chelsea, but the other two are big teams. Luton look like the better team at the moment, and I can see them taking all 3 points back to Bedfordshire, and like I said, could be a very important result come the end of the season, because Luton are definitely the best of the 3, and have the most potential to stay up, but you never know. We could see some shocks pulled off in the coming game weeks. We're already halfway through the season, so it's too early to call at the moment, but yeah, I'm going to back Luton here. And then move on to the Saturday fixtures and Chelsea versus Fulham. It's a West London derby as Chelsea hosts Fulham at Stamford Bridge, and despite being classed as a derby, it's not as fiery as you'd expect. It feels quite one-sided from an outside perspective. It's normally Fulham fans banging on about this derby instead of the Chelsea fans that may think Fulham are beneath them, but looking at recent performances, both teams are looking quite level at the moment, but it's definitely more of a Fulham derby than a Chelsea derby. Sort of like Forest-Leicester, Leicester fans love it, but Forest fans are like, just another match, innit? Both teams have been enjoying some recent successes too. They're both coming with the back of Cup and League wins, so we'll have momentum on their side as we come into this derby. But Chelsea have been experiencing slightly better form than their opponents as they've won 3 of their last 5, while Fulham have only won 2 of their last 5, with 4 points separating either team as well. But yeah, like I said, they are very similar. Only 4 points separates either side, so they're performing quite the same this season, which, with the money Chelsea have spent and the players they brought in, you would not be expecting them to be where they are, but hey man, they're not good. Besides all of that, I do think Chelsea will win, and I'm going to say 3-1 to Chelsea. This is classically a clash that Chelsea do win, and I see the same happening at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea have been very inconsistent this season, throwing away multiple leads and drawing points like it's going out of fashion. Fulham haven't been the most consistent either though, but their main issue comes from their inconsistency in front of net rather than just in games as a whole. Going from banging in goals to not being able to hit the broadside of a barn, questions need to be asked about their strike force, because it's not amazing, but it's not terrible either. It's very, very interesting, that sometimes they score, sometimes they don't. Chelsea seem to have found their goal scoring boots recently, with a whole host of players finding the back of the net. But the biggest issue that Chelsea faced though is their extensive list of injuries, with a whole host of players still on the sidelines. Fulham have a similar issue, but in their case it's the suspensions. as 3 players are sidelined for disciplinary reasons. I see Chelsea claiming the 3 points in this derby and maintaining those bragging rights at Stamford Bridge. And then we move on to Newcastle versus Manchester City. A resurgent Manchester City travelled to St James's Park to face the faltering Magpies. Newcastle have not been enjoying a great time of things recently, only winning 1 of their last 5 league matches. However, they did win the Ware Tyne derby in the Cup, but 2-6 still isn't great going. Manchester City, on the other hand, look to have recovered from their slump in form, winning 3 and drawing 1 of their last 5 league matches. It's not brilliant form for the citizens, but it's looking a lot better than it was. And they also won their cup clash against Huddersfield as well, quite comfortably, which is what you'd expect when Manchester City play Huddersfield. These results have seen City climb back up the table to 3rd, whilst Newcastle have slipped down to 9th place. City are coming off the back of a league win, whereas Newcastle are coming off the back of a league loss as they continue their bad run of form and slip further from the European positions. I'm going to say 2-0 to City. I can't really see Newcastle getting much, if anything, from this clash. They used to be able to fall back on their home form, but recently that has not been the case, with their most recent home match being that 3-1 loss to Forest. Part of that can be put down to their injury issues, but they've had players returning recently and that hasn't really helped their results. Man City have been without some players recently too, with Haaland being the biggest absentee, but he may be back for this clash. It's a bit inconclusive at the moment. De Bruyne returned in the Cup, so looking to get started in the league once again, and should fancy himself against this Newcastle side. Man City have fought their way back into the title challenge as they sit 5 points from top and only 2 off second placed Villa. If the Norwegian robot is back, he'll be wanting to retain his top spot on the scoring charts, and I mean, if Chris Wood can score 3 here, I shudder think what Haaland could do. It should be a fairly easy clash for the world champions and another 3 points as they battle to retain their crown. Either way, shaping up to be a very exciting match and an especially exciting title challenge. And then we move on to the Sunday fixtures and we start off with Everton versus Aston Villa. A faltering Everton host Aston Villa at Goodison Park. The Toffees are coming off the back of a draw in the FA Cup and a loss in the league and will only be looking to turn their form around. The Toffees are coming off the back of a draw in the FA Cup and a loss in the league, or we're looking to turn their form around to avoid slipping into the relegation zone, with Everton only sitting a point off the drop. Villa have been enjoying a much better season though, which sees them sitting in 2nd, 3 points behind league leaders Liverpool. They're coming off the back of a win in the league and in the cup, and are generally just enjoying a good run of form to be honest, with 3 wins and a draw from the past 5 league matches. Being a slight dip from earlier in the season, but still keeps them competitive in the title race and sees them sitting in a second place that they've earned, quite frankly. They deserve to be there. I'm going to say 2-1 to Villa. I see Villa taking the 3 points back to Birmingham, but unless they score a crazy amount of goals, that will see them stay in 2nd place down to goal difference. As I mentioned, Everton have not been enjoying a good run of form recently, and that's seen them slip closer to the relegation zone once again, only being a point from safety. They host an Aston Villa side which has scored the 2nd most goals this season, but Everton have been fairly solid in defence to be fair. They've only conceded 28 goals so far this season, which is 1 less than their opponents. I do think Everton will score, but Villa have been much more prolific in front of net and have been playing some really good football under Emery. Dyche will set up to frustrate, but I do see Villa being able to exploit Everton's backline and claim all 3 points and take them back to Birmingham. And then we move on to Manchester United versus Tottenham, which is the last clash of this first weekend. United host Tottenham at Old Trafford as they look to return to winning ways and push for Europe once again. Spurs, on the other hand, have been enjoying a much better run of form recently, coming off of wins in the league and the cup. As I mentioned though, United haven't been doing as well, coming off a loss in the league, but did grab a win in the cup against Wigan. The hosts have been very inconsistent as of late, and that was showed especially in their loss to Nottingham Forest in the East Midlands, where they didn't really look like troubling the Reds all that much. And that came after a win against Villa, which was very unforeseen. So yeah, they're just really up in the air at the moment. They're a very strange team, and I'm going to say it's going to be a 1-1 draw. I think the points will be shared in Manchester. Both teams have been swamped with injuries, and each team could also be missing players due to AFCON or the Asian Cup. That's why I'm backing a draw, you know. Spurs will be without their star player in Son, and that weakness in their attacking line will show. Son is their top goal scorer by far this season, and they're definitely going to miss his attacking output, with Spurs not really having a player to replace him should he miss out. United are in better stead in regards to players missing out, but they're just not performing well at the moment. I can see Spurs still being able to cause United a lot of issues. Luckily for United, they do have some injured players which could be returning for this clash, but even then, I reckon the points will be shared in Manchester. It really could go either way, but I don't see Spurs being able to overcome United, and I don't see United being able to overcome Spurs, so A draw is the only logical result, you know. And then we move on to our second set of Saturday fixtures as we look at Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. It's a North versus South London clash this week, or this second week, as Arsenal host Crystal Palace at the Emirates. Arsenal will be looking to make a return to winning ways as they're coming off the back of a loss in the Cup and the League. Their dip in form in the League has seen them slip down to 4th place, but are level on points with City and only 2 behind Villa. Palace are coming off the back of a Cup draw and a League win, and we're looking to start a run of winning results to really pull them away from the relegation zone. Not that they're in much risk of being pulled into relegation scrap at the moment, but you know, just in case. I'm going to say 2-1 to Arsenal. I can see Arsenal keeping all 3 points in North London. Palace haven't been scoring a lot of goals this season, but in their last 5 matches, they've scored 8 goals, which included an impressive draw against Man City, which is the most prolific they've been all season, and takes their tally to 22 goals so far. However, that is the 3rd lowest tally of goals this season, only outscoring Burnley and Sheffield United, and also takes them level on goals with Man United, so, you know, not the best company to keep. Arsenal have been far better in front of net, scoring 37 goals so far this season, which is quite impressive when you've got Kai Havertz and Gabriel Jesus on your team. Palace do have goal scorers in their ranks though, so will cause Arsenal some issues, as they've not really been great at the back this season. But I do see Arsenal's attacking players causing Palace a lot of issues and ultimately securing those 3 points. But I don't think Palace really have it in them to claim the 3 points against Arsenal. But hey, bigger shocks have happened, but Roy's job may be under a bit of threat. And then we move on to Brentford versus Nottingham Forest. We stay in London as Brentford hosts Nottingham Forest at the Brentford Community Stadium. Brentford will be looking to make a return to winning ways and begin to climb away from the relegation zone, in which they currently sit 4 points clear. Forest look to have turned their form around under Nuno, and despite drawing in the Cup, grabbed 2 wins from the 3 league matches he's managed so far. It's a very impressive turnaround, will make for a very interesting clash between these two, as Forest are on the up and Brentford are currently plummeting, so who knows, maybe Forest could grab a result here. And that's what I've gone with. I've gone with a 2-1 win for Forest. I think Forest will take the 3 points back to the East Midlands. Brentford are in a bad run of form at the moment, and with Forest's form being on the up, I can see Forest coming out on top of this clash, but it's going to be very tough in West London. It is expected that Tony will be back for this clash, whether he starts or comes off the bench. He's going to help the Bees massively with the goal scoring issues at the moment, and it's very likely that he's going to score here as well. It's just the Forest way. But I do feel that with the attacking talent Forest have at their disposal, with the likes of Wood, Morgan Gibbs-White, Dominguez and Elanga all being in good form, they should be able to exploit the Bees and take advantage of their vulnerable position. Of the 2 teams, Forest are the more affected by international duty, as they've seen quite a few players leave for AFCON. You know, judging by the time of this clash and what results happen, we could see some players return for this match, but it does remain to be seen. And we've both got mid-week FA Cup clashes as well, so I think Brentford get 1 more day of rest on Nottingham Forest, but it's not insane or something like that. But even despite possible absentees, I'm backing Forest to claim all 3 points. I think we can make do without some of our AFCON or international duty players, but it's going to be a tough match nonetheless. And then move to the Sunday fixtures and Sheffield United versus West Ham. Sheffield United host West Ham United as both sides look to make a return to winning ways. Sheffield United come off the back of a loss in the league as they fell to Manchester City, but were more lucky in the Cup as they cruised past Gillingham, which you would have expected. And also saw new signing Brereton Diaz getting run out as well, although he didn't score a goal. West Ham had come off the back of 2 draws, 1 to Brighton in the league and 1 to Bristol City in the Cup. West Ham are following a much better run of it though, winning 3 and drawing 1 of their last 5 league matches, which currently find themselves in 6th. Sheffield, on the other hand, find themselves rooted to the bottom of the league, which is, again, a position they've maintained for most of the season. I'm going to say 2-0 win for West Ham. West Ham have been in some impressive form recently, and have shown themselves to be a potent attacking outfit, which has seen them once again challenging for European football, scoring 33 goals so far this season, which is over double the amount of goals than their opponents. However, there is a chance that they'll be without Bowen and Paqueta, as they've both picked up injuries recently and could be out for a while, which will blunt their attacking edge. But the Blades are not too solid at the back, so it probably won't even matter. They've conceded 49 goals so far this season, which is the worst record in the division. So I'm backing the London outfit to take all 3 points back to London and continue their assault on the top 6. But yes, Sheffield United, they brought in a new signing, Brereton Diaz. He can score goals. I'm not sure if he can do it in the Premier League. He's not really been tested at that level yet. He didn't score in La Liga this season, so it's not been the best of starts for him. But he may be able to do something for Sheffield United, but even without the likes of Bowen and Paqueta, I think West Ham should fairly easily beat Sheffield United, even at Bramall Lane. And then move on to Bournemouth versus Liverpool. Bournemouth host Liverpool at Dean Court as they look to make a swift return to winning ways. But against the league leaders, that is a very tall order. The hosts have been in some great form recently, winning 4 of their last 5 matches, but are coming with a loss to Spurs in the league. However, they did win their cup tie, so I guess they've got that going for them. Liverpool have been enjoying a good season too, find themselves top of the league and enjoying a good run of form as well, winning 3 and drawing 2 of their last 5, as well as winning their cup tie against Arsenal. So I'm going to say 2-1 to Liverpool. As I said, I'm backing Liverpool to take all 3 points back to Merseyside. Liverpool have really impressed this season and as such have earned their position at the top of the league, but they have been weakened by the absence of their star player, Mohamed Salah, who is by far the highest scorer this season and don't really have a replacement for him. Liverpool do have a wealth of attacking talent and I can see them causing Bournemouth some problems, but it's not going to be as effective as it was if Salah was in the team, and it also looks like they may be without Trent Alexander-Arnold as well. So, big losses for the Liverpool all around. The Cherries have good attacking players at their disposal too, with the likes of Solanke leading their goal scoring charts and being in some brilliant form this season. I mean, he's 3rd in the entire league scoring charts, only behind Haaland and Salah, so he's doing well for himself as well. So I can see both teams scoring here, but I see Liverpool having more in the tank to beat Bournemouth on the coast. But it's going to be a really tough clash. You know, Liverpool have the absentees and Bournemouth are playing some good football at the moment, so it'll be a tough clash on the coast, but I just think Liverpool have what it takes to beat Bournemouth. It's not going to be a 9-0 blowout like we saw last season. And finally, we move on to the Monday fixture of Brighton versus Wolves. We finish this game week as Wolves travel up to the south coast to play Brighton at the Amex. Now, Brighton haven't been enjoying the most consistent season so far, and are currently coming off the back of a league draw, but a win in the cup, so it's not all doom and gloom. That draw has taken Brighton's results to 1 win and 3 draws in their last 5 league matches, as it continues to fluctuate for the Seagulls. It sees them sitting in 7th place, 3 points behind 6th place West Ham though, so they could gain on them if they, you know, get some results while West Ham are suffering. Wolves have been more consistent this season as they're coming off the back of a league win and a cup draw, so they do have a midweek fixture, but shouldn't really trouble them too much. That sees Wolves claim 3 wins and a draw from their last 5, and has them well placed to keep climbing up the table under O'Neill. But I'm going to say a 1-0 win to Brighton. I can see Brighton winning this clash at the Amex, however it's going to be a very tough match from both sides. International duty is coming at a bad time for Wolves, with quite a few of their first team players set to miss out through international duty. Now some of those players may well be back for this clash, but with important players like Hwang set to miss out, it's not looking good for the West Midlands outfit. Now Brighton are set to miss Adingra and Matoma too, so I can't really see it being a higher scoring affair, but I do think that Brighton will have what it takes to claim all 3 points on the coast. It's going to be a very tough clash for both teams though, but I think Brighton just have enough to see off Wolves in their own backyard. You'd expect so. I mean, Brighton under De Zerbi play some good football, they should be able to deal with Wolves, but it's a very strange Brighton side at the moment, so it really could go either way. But yeah, so those would be my Premier League predictions for Game Week 21. Like I said, it's a bit of a weird week being split across 2 weekends, but with the FA Cup fixtures and some international breaks going on, it's all a bit up in the air. So yeah, we may see very different teams to what we've seen for the majority of this season due to AFCON and the Asian Cup, meaning some players will just not be playing because they're representing their countries, and fair enough. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have any of your own predictions, please leave them down in the comments below. I do enjoy seeing what other people are cooking up, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.